So she said, I hit him. She repeated it. There was a woman standing across from her who I believe at that point said, you're hysterical. You need to calm down. You're hysterical. She repeated, I hit him. And there was a police officer who was in that vicinity kind of with us who replied, you what? She repeated it one more time. And that officer then signaled to somebody, get Goody down here, which I'm assuming would be the sergeant.
As I was ventilating, I was able to ask, did anybody see anything? What happened? And there was one individual that replied several times, I hit him.
And did you know that individual at that time?
I did not.
Can you describe the individual that said that?
I would describe her as mid-40s, average build, average height. And the other two, very similar.
And with reference to that statement of I hit him, is that something that she said once or more than once or something?
It was several times.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't hear. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear the thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Good afternoon, y'all, and a warm welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. So if I had been the prosecution, I would have kicked off my case and my arguments juxtaposing two responders from the Canton Fire Department. You just heard them. One woman, one man, who both said that Karen Reed had said, I hit him. Lieutenant Anthony Flammady testified on Tuesday. He testified first. He also described Reed as behaving erratically. The only response I was given was, I hit him, oh my God, I hit him. Flammady said that Reed's comments were very loud and she didn't answer his additional questions, only repeating, I hit him. Now, the fact that she didn't merely say once, I hit him, but repeated it, gives both additional emphasis to the statement and also scrubs away the likelihood that Flammady misheard. In other words, this notion that Karen Reed said, I hit him, is clearly accurate. It is clearly a matter of fact. Next, Canton Fire paramedic Katie McLaughlin asked Reed questions. So basically, Flammady passed on the whole process to McLaughlin, and she then kind of asked the same sort of thing. At this point, John O'Keefe's internal body temperature was just 80 degrees. And so McLaughlin said that she asked if there was any significant trauma that happened before this, and Karen responded, I hit him. She said, McLaughlin said that Karen seemed very upset, hysterical, I'd say. Now, the fact that a second paramedic heard the same thing basically makes this a fait accompli. And there was even a police officer who also heard the same thing, so that makes it three people. Three people hearing Karen Reed say, I hit him. So isn't it case closed? Isn't it basically a situation of
nothing further, Your Honor?
Well, not so fast. Before we get to the rest of this analysis, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Bear in mind, I'm starting to put up podcasts on Spotify. I'll put a link to that in the description. And if you're enjoying this analysis, please like, share, leave a comment. You can also hit the thanks button, and let's get started. So, isn't it nothing further, Your Honor? Case closed. Pretty obvious what happened here. Karen Reed hit him, and that's it. Isn't it a fait accompli? Well, it should be, but I remember in the Oscar Pistorius trial, you had around 5 witnesses all saying they heard a woman scream. And the defense attorney did quite a good job of basically arguing, firstly, well, if a couple heard the same thing, didn't they influence each other's testimonies? Also, if one person heard one thing and another something else, even if it was slightly different, then weren't they both unreliable? Essentially, he was arguing that if one pair of testimonies matched, there was doubt about their reliability, and if another pair didn't match, there was doubt as well. And guess what? The strategy worked. In terms of the legal finding of the court, they decided that no woman screamed, even though 5 people said they could hear a woman either talking or screaming. So you have this bizarre scenario where one witness hearing something is regarded as inferior to 5 witnesses hearing something, and in this case, at least 3 witnesses in the Karen Read case. Now, obviously, if the defense can wave a red flag at the charging bull of bias that they've created, and the jury can be persuaded to move on from this point, then they may have a case. But if you think about it, this entire case rests on whether Karen Read struck her boyfriend with her vehicle, and here she is at the scene repeatedly saying that that's exactly what she did. If you think about where we are now, there's a slight degree of uncertainty about what happened to him, and yet here's Karen herself saying unambiguously, I hit him. If it's true that Karen Read did hit him deliberately while drunk, and then sobered up, and then felt differently, and wanted to save John, or at least wanted to be seen apparently trying to save him, isn't it also possible that in the same way she may have acted rashly when drunk, she acted rashly at the scene, admitted to what she did only to feel differently later, and tried to escape accountability? Hence this whole scenario of a cover-up and the police are trying to frame her and all this kind of thing. In any event, there's also a 3rd paramedic who heard Karen Read make a self-incriminating statement. According to the Boston Herald, Timothy Nuttall, another Canton Fire paramedic who testified on Tuesday, also testified on Monday that Read made the incriminating and repeated statement, "This is all my fault and I did this." Now imagine if the Chris Watts case actually went to trial and his defense claimed that instead of Watts saying that he had committed the crime or had guilty knowledge, they hatched a defense of a police conspiracy. Well, the main difference is that in that scenario, you kind of have a situation of CCTV footage, a recording of Watts' words made after he was Mirandized in a police interrogation room, and then again in the setting of a prison, whereas there's no clear audio or video of Karen Read making these statements. There's simply too much snow and noise. But is that where true crime is today? If we don't have a video recording of something, even if we have 3 witnesses who couldn't be part of the police conspiracy because they aren't police, then we're still not convinced. Anyway, we'll see how this trial goes from here. Again, I'll repeat what I've said previously. To me, this is a very simple and also open and shut case. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.